We have your tropical update, and this is a really interesting morning. We saw Beryl go from a Cat 2 hurricane early this morning to a Cat 3, and now a Cat 4. Rapid intensification with Beryl this morning, and this is your update as we get into the early afternoon hours on Sunday. So we had Alberto, Beryl now a Cat 4. We're waiting to see if we get Chris and Debbie here in the coming days. There are two other areas that we're also watching, so I'll have updates on all of these. This is the one that we want to talk about, Beryl. And what I can tell you about this system, it is classic in its formation. It is a very symmetrical storm. There's convection all the way around it. You see a very clear, well-defined eye, pretty good-sized eye there. And this is a fairly small storm. Now, it's very powerful, a major hurricane, obviously Category 4, as I mentioned, but the hurricane force winds only extend out about 25 nautical miles from the center of this thing, and you go out 100 miles or so, and that's about the extent of the tropical storm force winds. So we've certainly seen much larger hurricanes move through the region, but down there, they have a very small hurricane that is very powerful, and we're going to show you where that's going. In addition to Beryl, there is another area that we're watching, another area that will be investigated by the Hurricane Center. This is expected to follow on the heels of Beryl, and there's about a 70 or 80% chance this thing develops in the coming week. So very high chance for that, and I'll show you more there in a moment. Right now, the winds with Beryl up to 130 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds. They had a reconnaissance flight through there. They identified those more powerful winds. So they said, this isn't a Cat 3 anymore. They thought it was. They found those winds. They said, nope, it's now a Cat 4, still moving west at about 21 miles per hour. Now, the sustained winds are at 130. The maximum wind gusts estimated to be around 150 miles per hour. So a very powerful storm. You see these islands here. You've got Trinidad and Tobago. There's Grenada there. You have some of the other islands. Barbados. We'll take a look as this moves through this region. The Lesser Antilles, specifically the Windward Islands, those southern islands in that chain, bracing for not only a major hurricane, but a Category 4 hurricane as it moves across the islands early tomorrow. And I'll be covering that on 13 News Now at daybreak early tomorrow as that storm system rolls through that area. After that, it's expected to move through the eastern Caribbean. It will continue moving west, maybe northwest. I will say the official track relative to what was out earlier this morning has shifted just a hair farther to the south. Still, the pass will come pretty close to Jamaica, and we'll have concerns there as this system moves along as a major hurricane, most likely impacting Jamaica during the day on Wednesday. But if that track continues to settle just a little farther south, that's good news for Hispaniola, good news for Puerto Rico, the northern islands there in the Lesser Antilles. And eventually, if it continues to shift a little farther south, that's good news for Jamaica. But as it goes farther south, and folks in Central America and over towards the Yucatan will brace for perhaps greater impacts. We'll see. You can see hurricane warnings and watches are up, tropical storm warnings. They know they're going to deal with the hurricane, these southern islands. So this is what they're all bracing for. You can see some watches farther to the north, and Trinidad and Tobago right now under tropical storm watch. Again, this is a storm system that is going to come through, but it's a fairly tight system. And Trinidad and Tobago are going to be on the weaker side of the system. As it moves through, it'll be these areas off to the north, Barbados and St. Lucia, that'll be hit with some of those stronger winds if it moves on through. Remember, it's that right front quadrant, so we're going to be watching for that. Now, you see the forecast here with the spaghetti plots. There's such a good agreement that this is going to roll through, again, passing just south of Barbados. So Barbados is on the dirty side, St. Lucia on the dirty side. It's going to roll along again. Most of the models still carry it pretty much towards Jamaica. So folks there are certainly going to be watching this again. The timing on that most likely sometime Wednesday of next week. Where it goes after that, some of them starting to maybe break off a little bit and carry it into the Gulf of Mexico, maybe up towards Louisiana. Others, the majority of them carry it towards the Yucatan. So a little split in the thinking they're longer range. It's still early. There's plenty of time to watch and see how things go. But this is something we're going to have to take very seriously. Obviously, we do, and we'll be watching this very closely. There's a ridge of high pressure that's going to help kind of steer this thing through the Caribbean, so we'll be watching for that. This next area, again, with a 70% chance for development, This is the next one that is forecast to follow the same track as Beryl, very close to it. And I wanted to show you the wave height. This is a model projection. You see these wave heights, pretty incredible, 30 to 35, even 40-foot waves in some cases out there in the open water, very close to the center of Beryl. Now, as it moves along, again, those waves on the right front quadrant going to be the most violent as it's moving along. You see them coming into the islands here. This is tomorrow morning, Monday morning. So that moves along. And I'm showing you this graphic because we have to watch that second potential system developing. And there you get a sense for where that next storm could be. So as Beryl moves through and again impacts the Caribbean, we'll be watching this next storm system as it could follow a very similar path. And we'll see where it goes after that. Really active time right now in the tropics. In addition to that, we've got another area in the Bay of Campeche, may or may not develop, 50% the chances from the hurricane center, but this is something too that could be a big rainmaker for the central Mexican coast there. We'll continue to watch that and keep you updated. Again, the big story this morning and now into the early afternoon, Beryl is a Category 4 hurricane, a powerful major hurricane with winds of 130 gusting to 150, taking aim on the Windward Islands. We'll continue to watch this and all of the tropics and keep you updated at 13 News Now.